If a man has no money, they say that even your dog will bite you. Your own wife, they say, will tell you that I'm about to dress, get out first before I dress. But the moment you have money, yeah, everyone welcomes you. So you rather just, in Swahili they say kujikaza kisabuni. So as a man, you are taken to be more tough if you suffer and not complain. In supporting prostate cancer awareness, I don't think it's only on men to do that. I think for No Shave November, even ladies can participate. They shave their legs a lot. They can stop shaving their legs, even armpits, just in the month of November. I'm Dr. Yuri, Oketch. I go by those names. I have a Christian name which I don't use. I think I don't like it as much, but I would prefer Yuri, just to be a bit informal. In terms of what I do, I think first and foremost, I'm a father to 3 beautiful kids. Surprisingly, my eldest is close to 17 years, so I'm raising a teenager. My youngest is about 7, so there's a big gap, almost 10 years. I'm also a husband to one beautiful wife. And last but not least, I'm a doctor, clinical doctor. So now I don't see patients as much because I kind of transitioned into the corporate world. So I sit in a corporate office, but I still manage different hospitals across Kenya. Currently, I'm working with an organization known as Africa Healthcare Network. That most of the times, what I can say in a nutshell is we do dialysis. The fancy name for that is renal replacement therapy.
So if you can just tell us in a nutshell what No Shave November means to you as a man, and why are you celebrating it at a personal level?
I think to me, because from history, from how it started as a No Shave November, I know it's not very clear. Sometimes I think there are different schools of thought. Others say that it started in families as you are trying to support certain members of their families who are going through a tough time, especially cancer related, maybe prostate cancer or any other male related cancer. And then it kind of spread out. But I know it mostly focuses on facial hair for men, mostly the beard, not shaving. But it's not an excuse to not groom properly. I know we also have metrosexual men who want to look good. I'm kind of old school, but I've always had a beard for the longest time. To me, maybe it's a kind of a default thing because I don't have any hair on my head, so I have to have some hair somewhere on my face so that it's a bit balanced. But again, in supporting prostate cancer awareness, I don't think it's only on men to do that. I think for No Shave November, even ladies can participate. They shave their legs a lot. They can stop shaving their legs, even armpits, just in the month of November. So that it also raises a bit of awareness that men who have prostate cancer might lose hair, either because of chemo or radiotherapy or other types of chemotherapeutics that they take, just to treat the cancer. And that's why, since we are cognizant of the fact that there's loss of hair during treatment of cancer, it is good to support that initiative and also bring awareness to it. And also mental health, we say is important. Because most of the times when people are sick, it's one of the loneliest periods in life where you can't pay anyone to be sick on your behalf. And as much as people come and give you support, they never really know the struggles that you go through. So if they feel that we are in a way remembering them or probably keeping them in our thoughts, either by not shaving, I think that is a plus, so that they feel if you do it this way, that is one. In a way, guys can also do donations or even improve awareness of prostate cancer. so that it can also improve screening, because screening is important. Prevention is better than cure. So if we screen more men, we won't end up with people with prostate cancer. And the only way that we can do that is to create awareness. So either through this month, by not shaving, or also raising funds for both awareness campaigns and also some funds going either to mental health awareness or the same. And I think also on treatment, if there's also money on research, money on developing medications or therapeutics, I think that will add value to the whole conversation, but again, also to prevent it from happening. Yeah.
I think I'm now getting the general idea of it. I actually didn't know that prostate cancer involves losing of hair, and maybe that is also why you're not shaving, to show that you are also part of them, or just we are with them, and also to make donations for them. So you see, most men are usually reluctant when it comes to their mental struggles. They don't open up about it. So what are some of the barriers of seeking help, and how can we overcome them?
I think I can put it as something that sometimes it's kind of taught. Maybe when you're growing up, be a man. So the question is, what is masculinity in the first thing? So if you talk about your problems, you're complaining too much. Or if you cry, you're not tough enough. So there are different ideas of who a man is, being manly. And you find one of the barriers is people do not want to share because you'll be taken as weak. So you rather just, in Swahili they say kujikaza kisabuni. So as a man, you are taken to be more tough if you suffer and not complain. If you are able to handle the issues on your own, without either reaching out or complaining. I think even as boys, when you fall down, you're like, why are you crying like a girl? So you are kind of, I don't know, because we are in a patriarchal society, we also expect men to be more tougher. And it's like crying is a weakness. So you find that if someone is going through a problem or a stress-related event in their life, they've been taught not to share. And in this age, we say, you're losing gangster points by appearing weak. So even if you are drowning inside, it's always preferred that you show a brave face. And whenever you share with sometimes fellow gentlemen or men, either you become a laughing stock. Right? This guy is weak. Then again leads to another thing, drug abuse, whereby how do people cope? Whether they go into other vices, whether it's alcohol, whether it's now also unleashing that anger on someone else. So you find there are also households where, they're broken down because of that. There's that violence. It's because that is the only way they can express themselves. If they are asked something, it's about being defensive, not about dealing with the real issues. So I think, yes, not as mental health, very difficult to even access that. I think many a times, even in a marriage, maybe I can even reference mine, where the lady will probably tell your wife, will tell us, should we go for counseling? And you're like, no, those things are not for me. Yeah? But if we have an issue, we deal with it as we are. Because we feel that if you open up to somebody else, you're showing a bit of weakness. For a lady, I don't think counseling is bad. It's not just when people are going through a rough patch. I think also when things are good, we can also talk about what is working. Yeah. So we also take it to be some kind of, in terms of our health-seeking behavior, it's kind of a last resort. I'll show up only when I'm dying. But when I still have some air in my lungs, I will push. So to me, I would say for the ladies who have men like that, we are many. It is easier for the ladies to recognize those challenges. Of course, we do not want them to sometimes also, take the information out there, because sometimes they have tried, so they try to engage someone else to try and speak to us. And then that does not, again, occur with us. But let them not give up. Let them keep trying. I think, yes, men should also try to open up. And I think the more we do it, the more it's out there. It also gives others confidence to do so. And also to open up and share and say, by the way, I'm also going through the same. I've seen, I think, in this contemporary space with the radios and all that, it's guys are speaking a bit more. I think I'm seeing more men dialing in to conversations and saying, you know, I'm also having a similar challenge. I think, was it 2 days back? I was listening to Classic 105 and listened to King Ami a lot. And he was asking the counterpart Maina that this disease of guys waking up and not speaking to each other, has it got into your house too, you know? And you know, when you relate, you're like, oh, my house, sometimes you also wake up and guys just don't want to talk. So as much as we are laughing about it, we're having conversations. I think that's the best thing, talking about it. So it was even easier for me to go back home and tell my wife I had this already. You see, we also don't talk at times, and then start talking about it. So yes, I think that is probably a barrier because of the way we grew up and the expectations of the society. I think that is why we're having a lot of mental health issues and challenges. Yeah.
What you say is very, very true, because actually it's like men are confined to the norms or how the society wants them to be, or how they're wired by the expectations from the society. And I think you just even got ahead of my next question, which was also, if you mentioned, I don't know if you also have other practical advice or tools for men to maintain their mental health and just to have good health in their daily lives. Do you have others other than opening up?
I think, to me, I would say first accept. Acceptance is everything. That I'm in a tight spot or I have a challenge. Do I need to seek help? Because if things are not going well, you'll either lose your family, lose your life, lose your job, and your stresses will just multiply. It is easier said than done to accept that you need help. And I think that's why relationships sometimes are important. There are men who have best friends who are also men, and it's free for them to speak about it. Hopefully they have the right kind of good friends, because they're people who, when you share, they rejoice in your downfall. Okay. But if you have the right social networks, it will be good to discuss. I think that is one. If you have a spouse who's more like a best friend, it's also easier to open up to them. But there are also other things that you can help to relieve stress. The people who journal, so you can either journal if that's your thing. If journaling does not work, if you like to participate in any activity or a sport, just to relieve the acute stress, whether it's football or whatever, you can do so. Sometimes in things that can help you unwind, or relax. If you're a fan of sports, do that. If you do video games or whatever, so whatever helps to relieve your stress. But sometimes you might try all that and you find you fail. I think that's when you have to have a bit of insight and say, I need help. Yes, and then you seek help. But try whatever works for you. Not the same thing works for everyone. Some people write it works. For me, I don't write anything. So I sometimes use the social networks. To me, I also relieve stress, maybe I can say, through kids. I think playing with my children, that is one of my hobbies. So whatever works for you. I think me, if I run with my kids, play football, we jump on the trampoline, you feel like you are in a family, you're doing something, and they're inspiring you to be a better person. Yeah, if you have a mentor, either at the workplace or if you have your pastor, someone can speak to you. Yes, but depends on how your dynamics. Yeah.
Great suggestions over there. So, what do you think communities or families can do to create a safe space for men to open up about themselves?
Yeah, I think the first thing is not to, we like naming and shaming and laughing. And also gossiping a lot. That have you heard so and so is going through this? And then also stigmatizing people with mental health, that either they are weak or they have some kind of a disorder. Because to me, I don't think mental health is mental illness. We need to separate that.
True.
And for you to prevent someone from ending up with a mental illness, we need to support them mentally. And it's sometimes small things whereby instead of trying to connect someone, if you see someone struggling, try to connect them to either their groups, whether they're self-help groups, or maybe their places that you think they might benefit from, whether it's their local church. And they have either sessions where it's counseling sessions and we need to open up, because it's sometimes hard to just bring in a counselor. So even you need to see this person. But it would be good to find a way to connect them either to a group or a counselor or something, but also not to stigmatize or not to judge. And again, now the other bit is, of course, it might take a whole nation or generation, is on how, the expectations that we have for men. I think we also need to understand that for you to be human, you should have feelings. And men have feelings. Maybe for ladies, they are more heightened, or they are more obvious. For us, as much as we feel, sometimes we don't express, but we do express. So those expectations that as a man, you need to be this, you need to be that, might take maybe generations, I don't know. But as we're having conversations about them, ensuring that we have a space, an open space, and also them to feel that they are welcome to speak out. And there's also confidentiality in case someone, gives information in confidence, it's not spread out there. Because that now worsens their mental health. Now they shy away from people, lock themselves out, run away from people. Yes, but as the other bit is for communities is maybe another layer probably in terms of civic education, so that communities are also able to understand. And then now it trickles down to now the individuals, either man or woman. And that is where now we're looking at either the hand of either NGOs, the government, also to support such initiatives, so that we take care of our both men and women and even children in the society.
Those are actually good initiatives that which incorporated can actually help men in in accepting that it is normal to go through whatever they are going through. And let me take you back to when we were discussing some of the practical advice that men can use to maintain good mental health. And you spoke about having best friends. So how do you think having a peer group or just a best friend, how do you think that can help in supporting you as a man?
Yeah, I think...
without feeling judged or anything.
Yeah, I think there's always this adage that says, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. So it's not just about having a good, network of friends. It needs to be the right kind of friends. Because there are some that will probably take you to the path of destruction a bit faster. Because you're like, whenever I'm stressed, I just take this drug or do that. And then now you get the negative peer pressure to do those things. But yes, having that supportive network is important. And the way it helps most of the times is you find I can just reference what ladies do. There's charmers.
Mm.
And these charmers most of the times build people up. I think for men, most of the things that contribute to mental health is finances. So if we can also try and have men charmers where people contribute, and in a way, either someone can either take a loan from that, or maybe you can assist one brother with it so that they can develop themselves. I think most of the issues of mental health will probably reduce, not disappear completely, but because for men, we usually look at security. We offer security to now our partners, or now the financial security, or the other bit is I know with which is probably different from this is respect to look at, because we are also very ego oriented individuals. So if a man has no money, they say that even your dog will bite you. You won't get respect from the elders or even village women. They say, be like so and so. Okay. Your own wife, they say, will tell you that I'm about to dress, get out first before I dress. But the moment you have money, yeah, everyone welcomes you. I probably went through counseling. Maybe you can use that too. When I'm stressed, maybe we can probably plan with your spouse and also my spouse, even go for a holiday, and probably just de-stress or whatever. So if you have the right network of friends, they will surely help you. But again, they say a problem is most of the times a problem shared is a problem half solved. So if you are bottling it up, it's a problem. There's a man who's going through similar situation, or maybe has had the same in the past. There's something that worked for them, they can share. If they can also probably reference you to a group or a counselor, they can do so. If it's about helping you with managing your budgets, finances, they can say this is what works for me, you can try it out. If it's about an investment also, we can either invest as a group or they can also advise you, because we are not good at everything. Maybe I'm not good at business or investment. A colleague is good in that. Once we uplift each other, I think we'll also uplift our own individual household units. Yeah.
And before I forget, do you think younger generations of men are approaching issues like vulnerability and self-expression differently as compared to older generations?
That's a loaded one. I think I do not want to judge so much or even paint everyone with the same brush, because as much as we're saying it's younger, we have different circumstances or even dynamics of how we grew up, what shaped our beliefs and all our belief systems. So I would not want to generalize, but I say to some extent, we find that what is being reported out there is that, if you compare this generation versus the older generation, they don't have what we call an adversity quotient, like built in a way that they can withstand a lot of stress or adversity. Not too sure whether it's upbringing, but it can also be, any generational change is good for anything. Maybe it's an eye-opener for us to see that these men are opening up a bit more. They are talking a bit more about their issues. That's why they're being judged differently. People thinking that they cannot handle it, but they're more expressive. There's no point in keeping quiet. But I think for maybe going back to what I've seen in the workplace, I think they also say that they're labeled as Gen Zs, okay, or guys who there's something called quiet quitting. If it's too stressful now, I don't want this, I move to the next one. But I think we have normalized suffering for too long, whereby guys think there's a badge of honor in suffering. But if I'm hardy, that's the right thing. There's no problem with wanting good things, wanting a stress-free life. Of course, guys would want to sleep the whole day or go to the beach. and do fun things. There's no problem with that at all. But of course, everything has a balance. Yeah, the guys who nowadays you see they do that, they go for holidays, all they do is content creation. But again, content creation is a lot of work. There's a lot of editing, you need to be relevant. And again, there's the pressure from social media. You're still relevant, you still have followers. So there's still some element of stress in that. So I would say let them do what they are doing. I think we're also learning from them. They also learn a bit from us. You can never say that you are too experienced to not go through a mental health issue.
That is very true.
Yes, because you might find for them, because they speak a lot and they talk about it, they get over it a bit faster. And they are also able to express themselves before, it gets too bad. Yeah. But of course, we have also seen incidences of, let's say, suicide going up. And they say that probably because it's guys who are not tough enough, or they are probably too reactive. Like anything happens to me, I will die, I will do this. Which I think we need to have conversations on that, see how we can assist, help, and also not judge them, because I think we're also at fault. If the older generation is also judging the younger generation, probably unfairly, they feel that I'm unheard, no one understands me. So I'd rather just call it quits. But if you try and meet them halfway, as much as we have our own views and we think you need to be tough, then there's no problem in being soft. Yeah.
You see, as ladies, if at all it's Women's Day or Mother's Day, we usually celebrate each other. So we don't have to necessarily wait for a man. Okay, they do that. But do you also celebrate each other as men? Are there such initiatives that are there, maybe programs that are usually created to celebrate you as men without really necessarily bringing in the women?
Again, that's a very hard one. I think maybe it depends on the generation. In my generation, I will say no. You might be mistaken for a CC, or maybe you are not. How can I put it? You're not a straight person. You're not a. You're probably on the other side. I'm not judging the LGBTQ community in any bad light, but it's very hard even for someone like me to tell a fellow man good night.
Yeah.
Okay. It'd be like, bro, see you tomorrow, or cheers or something. But saying good night, good morning, no way. If you're saying happy International Men's Day, they're like, hey, bro, you need to investigate you. Why are you doing that? Because maybe, if I can speak maybe for majority of men, our love language is not gifting and probably words of affirmation a lot. Maybe to some extent, yes, that you're doing well, whatever, that is good. But not that you write for me a card, I see candles. Maybe guys are different. We are the ones who probably gift out a lot. And I think for any other holiday or any day that has recognition, we always feel that it's the opposite sex that benefits. It's International Men's Day, but they're like, so where are we going for dinner? So you find it's our day, but we are still the ones who are paying the bill. So you rather not even remember the day, because if you remember it's Men's Day and then you have to go on a date, I'm still the one paying for the date. So we are not appreciated as much, I believe. But again, like just to circle back on what you said, I think it's good that we should appreciate ourselves and also appreciate each other. Although it's hard to maybe appreciate ourselves not in flowery languages, okay, but more like, you inspire me or something. I like what you do. I would probably like you to show me the rope, something of the sort. So I feel that most of the times, we do appreciate maybe our dads. We tell them, it is because of you that we are here and all that. But even then, they're looking at you with a certain eye, like, don't do it too much, because it's uncomfortable. Because we didn't grow up. I think this is a time that for me, maybe my kids will be different. Because I do give them hugs, before they go to to school, you give them a kiss, and it's my son. But I don't think I've ever hugged my dad in my life. And if I'm to try it now, you'll be like, it's so weird that you'd rather just stop doing it. So I think with the coming generations, we'll get there. Because we appreciate them, we talk about it, they express themselves a lot. Our kids do that. They know a lot of things, more than even myself, because I learn a lot from even my kids. But from each other, we are still not there yet. Yes.
What role do you think workplaces take in encouraging mental health in men? And what do you think they can incorporate to ensure that men also feel comfortable in their places of work?
It's a good one. I think one is to develop it's more of a culture, organizational culture. So if you're embracing mental health, it needs to be bold and it needs to be loud. Whereby first you do not condone any, call it what, bullying, okay, at the workplace, any toxicity, because that also affects mental health a lot, and also put it out there. Like for example, if there's a poster, if in case you even have a conflict, either with your manager or whoever, this is how to report, this is how to address it, so that you don't feel that I just need to keep quiet at work. That is one. I think also in terms of having activities outside work, like the good thing is probably where I'm at, this is what I've seen. Every Fridays, we have something called Team of the Week, which is about playing games, mostly office games. So you find by around 4, guys just stop work and they go, you do games, you talk, you reflect on the week, because you find the week has been heavy. Guys are all pushing targets, you're told you need to meet this target and all that. And we get to know more about each other. In certain games, you might know that this is a family man or a family person. Maybe this is probably a single dad or whatever, they're going through this and that. And then you start looking at them as a whole human being, just instead of this is a manager, this is a junior staff, but this is a human being that also has other responsibilities apart from the workplace. But I think if you also encourage that openness in terms of reporting issues of harassment, bullying, from both sides, because they always say sometimes it's hard for a man to have a female boss, find that you're being harassed with a female boss. Maybe the other way around, whereby ladies are also feeling harassed by some of the male bosses, sometimes even sexually, so that to gain some favors. So it's been a practice that has been there in many organizations. It's a bad one. It's always good to create safer avenues for reporting such, and also not victimizing the people who report. And again, they need to see action being taken, because I don't report something and I'm seeing the same, character is just moving around. Nothing is happening. We're still harassing you. Well, now you're being victimized. So that affects men's mental health. I think the other bit, like I mentioned, salary is important. So pay guys on time and pay them more. Yeah, because that will sort out a lot of issues in the households. In terms of also fairness, so in job promotions, get promoted if fair work for put in the work, also recognition that they're doing well. Even certificates of recognition, I'm seeing something there which is a recognition certificate, which is important, so that their work is valued. And also organizations should probably have mental health programs, whether with partners, so that they also feel there's a bit of confidentiality that, if I have an issue and I go to a certain provider, my employer would know about it. And then, at least cascade this and let employees know that in case you have an issue, we have either this organization or these people who can support you. You you can reach them either through these lines or through these channels, and it's completely confidential. Yes, whether it's through medical insurance or whether it's for them engaging a different service provider. Yes, I think that would be more of a healthy work environment. And lastly, prevent burnout. So ensure that guys are not stretching too much. They're getting enough rest. There's that work-life balance, and not to glorify the people who leave work past 5. If it's 5 on the dot, take your bag, go. It's not that if you are a hero if you stay up to 6 or 7. Young guys think that guy is really working. So if I'm coming in at maybe early enough, leave on time. And I should not be looked at like, I'm always just looking at the clock. Because our lives, just the other people that depend on us. And if I'm having an issue probably at home, it might come to work with me because I'll still have a bad day to work. So I need to also give my time at home since I'm giving more time at work. Yes.
Great. We're almost calling it a wrap, but before that, what's your hopes for future Movember or Men's Day?
Yeah, I'm hoping to see, like I said, more noise about it, more talk about it. I think guys know about it, but it needs to be amplified a bit. Need to see more men keeping beards and not shaving. We now need to see again ladies coming out, with hairy armpits. It's not a bad thing. Just November, hairy legs, so that we make noise about it. We keep talking about it, and I hope it grows and grows more. I hope that we also start raising funds. Also, like I said, either to support mental health programs, either research, or also treatment. Yes, I think that will be good to see in future. And again, guys like yourself, organizations like yourself, write more about it, talk about it, do more interviews. Like I said, civic education is also important for us to educate the society. Why is it happening? Because guys are thinking that maybe is this no shave November just for, is it called the woke movement, or the guys probably in urban centers? If you go to maybe somewhere in Pokot and talk about no shave November, the Pokot person will be like, what is this guy talking about? Okay, so it needs also to be translated, not just maybe in English, but also in other languages, so that there is they can access information in the local languages, whether it's Swahili or other languages, just like the way the Bible was translated. Then they understand how it's being done, and I'm sure more men will go for screening after that. More people will be aware, and we'll also support each other as men. Yeah.